And good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for being on this call today. I'm so excited about this training. I love training. I really, really do. And you may see me gravitate to the side because because I'm sharing my presentation, I can't see all of you. So if you see me looking from the side, that's where my phone is so I can see you. So I see you, Constantine and Ellen and Chris. Hey there. Hey there. Hey there, anyone else who wants to open up their camera, that would be great because this is a training and I see Chris. Okay, thank you, Chris. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, Oksana. Okay, good.
No, good
Okay, good.
evening.
Now I'm not alone. Now I am not
Evening.
alone because I really want to share with you a little bit of my story and how I got where I am. I love
Mhm.
these trainings because the business academy, sorry, the opportunity call that I did just before is really honed in for new people to who are interested in hearing about PM. And that's what that call is. But the training is, you know how they say the the meat in the the dinner table. This is where the core of how we can get ahead in our business. And I'm so excited because coming up in the month of March, I'm going to open it up to leaders to being able to do this training as well. Because I feel like the fact that I've been in this industry for 30 plus years um, means that I have a lot of knowledge. But you know what? I'm not the only one. I honestly believe in my career that the leadership that we have and the means of our top leaders, our team partners, is so smart and so brilliant. This is why PM International has consistent growth. It's because of you, the leaders that are on this call that have put forth the effort to make it happen. So I applaud you for being on this call. And for many of you, it's late. It is 9 o'clock in the evening and you're ready to go to bed, but you took time to be on this call. For us on the West Coast, it is dinner time. And yet you decided to be on this call. So it means a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and tell you, hey, Catherine, thank you so much for opening your camera. And who else? Oh, Duet. Okay, good. Wonderful. Oh, I see Tammy there. Thank you all so much. Okay. All right. So now let me go ahead and get started. Um, when we do this business, there's always a reason. A lot of times people have the myth that we do this because of money, and money is important, no doubt. I mean, this is how we pay our bills. This is how we get ahead, right? This is how we buy things. But really, it's not just about the money. It's about the people that we have in our lives. It's about what we can do with the money, the relationships that we build. And what happens when we think about 2025 of raising up to the next level, we have to have some motivation to being able to get us there. And right here on this screen is, there we go. Come on. Oops, it passed. Hold on. It went quick. This is the motivation for me because this is my family here. And this is what I think about first thing in the morning. This is what I think about in the evening. And my family has grown throughout the years. So that first slide that you are seeing at the very top is when my daughter Amanda got married. I was a single mom for the majority of her life. And she asked me to walk her down the aisle, which I was so um, in awe about that. That next picture that you're seeing under there is my dad and my siblings. A few years ago, my dad passed away. So that picture is a very important picture because it shows how special moments are. Then at the bottom, well, I'm going to say that one for just a little bit later, but right next to that, that large picture is my daughter, my youngest daughter, Sarah. She's getting her master's in marriage and family counseling. And that's her doing the keynote speaker of that. And then next to that, that's actually pretty recent. That's my mom and my stepdad and my husband. And we did a date night with my mom. We on Valentine's Day. That's what she likes. This is the second year in a row that she calls me and she says, okay, are we going? So we get to do a date night with my parents, which I love that. And then at the bottom are my two precious grandbabies. That's Noah and Shiloh. And they're both reading a book. And that's my reason. And so what happens in this industry, and my mom actually was the one that started because she was a single mom of 5 kids. And she raised us on this income and what it can do. So when we think about timing and trends and what you have in your hand, it's a gold mine of opportunity. The key to being successful in this business, undoubtedly, is what do you do with this opportunity? And earlier, I want to say last year, we came up with this video that really paints the picture on how special this industry that we have in front of us, how truly special it is. So I'm going to show this video to kind of start off our call tonight.
The Americas is positioned to play a major role in the future of PM International. The Americas is made up of $7 billion direct selling markets. These countries play a major impact in the global direct selling channel, contributing to 36% of worldwide sales and 24% of global sales force. PM Americas is positioned to be the next billion-dollar PM market. The Americas has never been positioned better than it is today, and we're just getting started. We have tens of millions of consumers that have never heard of Fitline. While the PM opportunity is a global success story, it is an opportunity that is just gaining traction in the Americas. The timing to build in the Americas has never been better. It is our time to rise and reach new heights.
I love that video. I really do, because what it does, it really does set the pace of the opportunity that we have. Now, I know there are those of you on the call saying, Tony, can you send that video to me? Well, don't worry. It's actually available in several different languages on our YouTube channel, which you can be able to get that and retrieve that. I'm going to have it updated with our new logo that's Rise Up, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, it's a great tool for you to be able to share that. And so with people, to give them perspective. So the question is your future vision. Where are you going? Where do you want to accomplish in 2025? Undoubtedly, in the month of February, we are already 1 month into 2025. Are you saying to yourself, well, you know what? This year I'm done. I'm going to wait till 2026 to achieve my goal? I hope not, because there's a whole nother 10 and a half months left for you to be able to still accomplish your goal. The key is that I want you all to think big. I'm talking about bigger than you ever have thought before, especially with the game changer. You're going to hear game changer a lot in PM International this year, because with the new products that we have that are coming, the new products that are already happened, you already know my story, right? It is a time for you to be able to think big. And that's why this slide is important. Set a goal. Set a goal. What is your goal? Then make a plan to achieve that goal. Then get to work. Get to work. Know that it is going to be an uphill battle to that goal, but you got to stick to it. You got to stick to it. What does that mean? Is that when it goes up and down, you don't get discouraged on that goal. You don't reestablish your goal. You keep going until you reach the goal. So tonight, I'm going to talk about 5 steps that you can do toward determining and how you can have those when you reach your goal. And your consistency with these steps really will determine your success. I mean, I went back through it again and I tweaked it a little bit because I thought to myself, I want to make sure that you understand the nuts and bolts of what this is and the keys to you becoming successful in your business. So if you have a leader that you think this could benefit, you want to send a quick little text message and say, jump on the call, then do that, because that's exactly what's going to happen toward you writing down and then making a point of what you're going to achieve. So let me review a little bit of what those steps are. The first one is sharing your story, your business story or your product story, or both. That's important, right? You got to be able to know and share your story and share it in an effective manner, okay? The other thing is you have to have your contact list. Now, that may be something that when we start thinking about direct selling 101, direct meaning that you directly go to the customer, right? Network marketing is where you build a team and you build a network. But either way goes, in both of those channels, you got to have your list. And then what happens is with that list, you're going to go back and forth and continue to tweak it and advance it so that way you have a wealth of lists of people that you can go to at any time to help build your business. Okay. Then what's important is making the appointment. When you make the appointment, what that does is that allows you that opportunity to come face to face or on Zoom or whatever way you decide to do it, to be able to close that, right? And again, it helps you to be able to do that. And then thinking about customers to team partners. When you have a customer who falls in love with the FitLine product, undoubtedly that customer then can be turned into a team partner, a business partner. And that's why building a team is that last step. Okay, so let me go through each of these steps in a little bit more detail and what I mean by that. And again, some of the things you may hear say, Tony, I think I've heard you talk about this before, but you know what? I always think if I can hear it multiple times, maybe this is the one time that you think to yourself, the life experiences that you've gone through is what has shaped you to making sure that you achieve those goals, then it's worth you hearing it multiple times. So this training, I'll do this training again later, but then what I do want you to do is to invite more and more people so that they can hear and then reinforce it. And the next thing you know, you'll be able to have this training in the back of your mind. And especially it becomes from your conscious to your subconscious. Conscious is those things that you're aware of. Subconscious is those things that you do that are habit forming that you don't even know why you're doing it. It's just because it just is what you do, right? All right, so let me break down the first step. Creating your product story. What does that mean? When people come to PM International, a lot of times you hear the word PM International, that may not resonate with people. But that's one of the reasons why I shared with you at the very beginning of who I am and who is my circle, who are the people that really help motivate me every day to do what I do. Well, that's where your personal story. People come to PM International because of you. What happens is the brand, the product helps them to engage, helps them to stick to it. But their initial reason why they come is because of you. That's why telling your story is so important. It really is. And how you tell the story is important as well. I've been done a lot of trainings before, and I told them I've made a lot of mistakes when it came to telling my story. Sometimes I tell them everything, and I'm like, whoop, whoop, whoop. And then all of a sudden their shoulders are up. But by the time they hear my story, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't do what you do. Only you can do that, Tony. And that's what they say. So that's why telling your story is so important. And what are the components to really telling your story? It is one of those things that when it comes to whether it's business or whether it's personal or whether it's a customer, it doesn't matter. If you use this 4-step to being able to achieve it, then you undoubtedly can tell your story in an effective way so that way they can then take your story and see themselves in you. That's what you want to do, is make sure that when you're talking to someone, they connect in a way that they see themselves doing exactly what you are doing. So that's why when it comes to origin, what's origin? That is, who are you? When I talk about the origin, most people already know I'm a mom, a grandma, and a wife. That's it. And my heart is my grandbabies. I love my kids, so don't get me wrong, because they said, Mom, you always talk about the grandkids. I said, well, I can't help it. They're so darn cute. But that's my origin. But also when I talk about the business, and a lot of times people say, you say, oh, I work for PM International. That doesn't mean anything to them. But if I tell them I help busy people stay healthy, well, guess what? Someone will raise their hand and say, I'm a busy person and I want to stay healthy. Guess what? We've now connected. And so then the next step to that is the problem. Oh my gosh. When you say problem, that makes it seem like it's a negative. Well, sometimes problems are, right? But a problem is whatever is the reason that drew you to PM International. What made you say yes? Sometimes it's because you said, well, what's happening is my daughter's getting married and I wanted to make some extra money to pay for the wedding. Well, that's not really, that sounds like a good problem to have, but it is a problem because you want to make sure you have the money. Or maybe you say, like me, I often say that my 3-year-old grandson has so much energy that I needed some energy to be able to work with him. That's a problem. Or maybe the problem is that I want to go to a trip in September with my husband to Portugal. That's something else as well. No matter what, we always have our reasons of the reason why. What is your why did you say yes? Be transparent with them. And then talk about the solution. So when you start talking about the scenarios that I gave, I said to you earlier about putting my daughter through school or paying with my grandson Noah, or taking my husband John to Portugal on a vacation in September. That is one of our goals, right? And so the solution is I came to PM International, and what happened? And I was able to pay for my daughter's wedding. Now, can you imagine if I can say it like this? Hi, my name is Tony. I'm a mom and a grandma. But before I was a grandmother, my daughter one day told me that she was getting married. It was the happiest day in my life. I remember her as a little girl as a little girl, right? And what happened was I wanted to get some doves, because Dove is my maiden name. I wanted some doves at her wedding. And my friend Catherine told me about this company, PM International, and that I could be able to earn enough money, and she would show me how to do it. She said, use talk demo, use this product, talk about it and demo it. I did those 3 little simple things. And guess what? Oh my gosh. When people walked in and they saw the doves go up in the air for my daughter's wedding, I was so elated about that. So you can see how something like that can really cultivate, and that's a true story, except Catherine was the one that told me it was Rolf, but nevertheless, the emotions were important and people could relate to that. That's why when you talk about the core principle is that people want to know that they can trust that you're saying. So be authentic in your story. Don't embellish it. Don't overextend it. Sometimes people, when they talk about the product, they talk about medical conditions that they were able to avoid. But remember, we are not a pharmacy. We are great nutrition, which has fruits and vegetables. That's what we're talking about. So that's why it's important. Don't overextend that. Just make sure you're honest and that you show that you care. How do you show that you care when you're talking to someone? Is that you got to sound interested rather than interesting. You have to show that you're interested in what they have to say. What do they want to accomplish? What are their goals? And then help them along the way. That's the core principle of connection, is that you build trust and you show that you care and you offer to help. If you can be able to capitalize on that, then your story becomes more authentic and people on your team will grow. Your customer base will grow if you show that you are sharing them something that they can trust and they can count on. Okay, that's step one. Now I got to move forward because I had to get to step two in that contact list. Contact list is so important. What happens is there's two different areas of engagement. The first one is the warm market and the cold market. The warm market are the people that you know. The cold market are the people that you don't know. What happens is those are, when you meet someone, it comes in two different categories. Most of the time, we start with our warm market, the people that we know, and then we gravitate to our cold market. And then what happens is those two markets then grow into our customers or in team partners. They go into two different categories, one or the other, right? So then what happens is, how then do you convert them? You convert with them by this little triangle right here, okay? Warm market is prospecting, inviting them, and then closing them. So you tapped into who you know, right? That becomes your warm market. Then you prospect them by sharing your story, inviting them to, like, for example, the opportunity calls or opportunity meetings or like the road shows, and that helps to close them. The thing about being able to make it attractive is where you start talking about your social media, because your social media says that you tap into the market and tap into their opportunity, and you show that connection, and you continue to show who you are, whether it's your products or your life or who you are. Ellen's on the line. She's going to do a training later on social media because she's great at those videos. Hey, Ellen, my superstar on the line. She's great at that. Oh my gosh, I love her Instagram. She gives me ideas on how to do that. But brand visibility is important in building that connection. And when you build that connection, it helps you with your conversion. So when it comes to your contact list, this is an oldie but goodie. I think I'm aging myself by saying this right here. They fall into these categories: your friends, your relative, your coworkers. I say classmates, but really I don't have classmates anymore, but I definitely have friends. I probably would change that to networking groups because I do a lot with that. And then social selling. But what happens is asking yourself and making a list of who those people are. You know, one day I did this, and I think you have access to the chat. You should do. Can you guys send me a chat? Can someone send me a chat real quick? I want to see if it works. Everyone say hi or something. Tell me where you're from. Go ahead. Because I see I have quite a few. Okay, thank you, Ellen. Tell me, you know what, in the chat, go ahead and put down where you're from. Let's see who's on the line. Toronto. Oh, Pari. Okay, Pari's here. Okay, great. Toronto. I love that. Philadelphia. Hey there. Okay, Fee. Okay, got it. Hope I'm saying that correct. All right. Wonderful. Love it. Love Ukraine. Oh my gosh. Oksana, you're all the way from Ukraine. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for being on the call. All right, good. Dallas, Grace, thank you. Love it, love it, love it. Keep it going. So you can see in terms of the diversity of where we're all from and how that can be relatable. So the key to being able to make these customer lists is that you want to know why they're on your list in the first place. Because what happens is when you think about the people on your list, and one thing I was going to tell you about our phone list. I know with the great thing about my app, my cell phone, my iPhone, is that it tells me how many people I have in my phone. And the other day I looked at it. I have over 3,000 people. How do you know that? You go to your phone and then you go to your contacts and you go all the way to Z, and it'll tell you how many people you have in your contact list. Go ahead, try that. I'm curious to know, how many people do you have in your contact list? Go to your contacts, okay? And then go all the way to the very bottom of it. You can actually press the Z in mine, and it'll show you exactly how many people you have on your list. And actually, I have even more. I have 4,021 contact lists. Oh my gosh, I have a lot. I have a lot. And so then go ahead. I have 4,000 people in my contact list. That is really funny. How many do you have? Go ahead, put it in the chat. Okay. So what happens is you think that you want to make sure that you segment it, and the reason why you're calling them. We're going to talk about setting the appointments in a minute, but really thinking to yourself and listening, you can determine whether they're the product or the business. I think when you have someone who comes in with the product, I think that by far is the best person to have in the business. Why? Because our products are so life-changing. But what happens is sometimes when you go to your list, some people are going to say no. So I developed this thing. It's called our no tracker. And Rolf Sorg is great because when he first joined, he talked about how important it was to set a goal for yourself. What the no tracker does is in 12 weeks, it helps you to track how many people say no, because it will get you to your yeses. And what happens with this no is that when you start talking about the list, and I told you I have 4,000 people on my list, right? I don't know how many you have. Did anyone? Oh, some people say one. You only have one on your list. Three. Oh, Catherine has 391. Okay, great. Anybody else? And so what happens is if you start tracking your no's, you're going to get no's, right? That's okay. Because look at this. This person got another no, another no, another no, another no, 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 no. She's at 6 right now. So 6, she may be thinking, I'm going to give up. But guess what? She gets a yes. Then she does it again. She gets a no, and she gets a yes. That's week 1. So she got 2 yeses. But then she goes and she says no. And she has another week. She has all of these no's that happen, right? She has almost a week of no's. Guess what? Second week, she has all no's. Is she getting discouraged? Yeah, she's getting discouraged. Does she give up? No, she doesn't give up. She keeps going because undoubtedly the third week, at the beginning of the week, she says yes. Now, can you imagine if she had given up right before she got to the yes? That's what a lot of people do in this business. The key is never giving up and continuing to better your best. I remember when I first started, is that I would say, hi, my name is Tony. And I'd be so intimidated, I wouldn't say anything else. Then I got to a point where I said, hi, my name is Tony, and I. And then I got to a point where my name is Tony, and this is what I do, and I'd love to tell you more about it. Then I got to the point where I say, my name is Tony. I love to tell you what I do, and I can be able to make your life easier. Let me show you how. And that's when those no's don't discourage me, because I know that if I keep doing this, I will get to yeses. And look at that. That is 5 yeses in 3 weeks, right? What happens with our program is our business is 5. It's the golden ticket. 5 customers equal your manager. So that's why I say it's good for you never to give up. And this little statistics right here kind of shows you that. And the bottom line is, I'm going to go to the bottom of it, and it says 80% of the sales are made on the 5th or 12th contact. Consistency pays off in the business. Okay, let me go to step 3, the appointment. Because when the appointment comes and setting the appointments, you have to decide whether remote or in person is better. Remote means online. Online is a great option, right? And I've done online appointments and had great success with it. But the key to making sure that your online appointments are good is that you got to make sure that you lay the groundwork before. Get them excited about what you have to say. Build curiosity. In our IMM training, we often talk about how building curiosity is almost like when you think of a movie preview, and a movie preview is just to give you just enough information before you tell them all the details. So if you build curiosity, what does that mean? You just tell them a little bit about PM International just to get them excited. It was so funny. I was telling someone, this young lady, about our Top Shape and my results, and how you use the product and you start in the morning and the evening, one in the evening and the morning, and you fill in with the Top Shape. And by the time she got off the call, she's like, I can't wait to start trying this product. I'm so excited. Why did that work? Was because I found out what she was wanting to accomplish is that in April of this year is her 57th birthday, and she wants to wear a special dress on her 57th birthday. So I even told her, go ahead, go look for the dress. Why? Because then that helped her to be able to establish how the benefits are going to help her to achieve that. So that's why you set a time, and anytime when you start, you set a time and you're having this appointment, you got to make sure that you already have in your mind when is the best time for you to set that time, whether it's in the morning or in the evening. So when I talk about setting times, right, a lot of times we would think, oh man, I want to make sure it's convenient for her or him. But no. That's not the right philosophy. You want to make sure that you're busy so you can tell them, hey, guess what? I'm available. Let me look at my calendar. Tuesday, I'm available at 10 a.m. And Wednesday, I'm available at 6 p.m. Which day works for you? Why do we do that? So that way they don't think you have all the time in the world. The worst thing you can say is, hey, I am open. We can meet whenever you want. And then you tell them it's a successful business. Oh my gosh, then why do you have so much time? No, don't have too much time. Be busy, okay? So set the time, right? But then when you meet with them, make sure that you are a good listener. Look at their body language. If they're sitting up like this, that tells you something. But if they're like this, or they're distracted on their phone, or they're reading a magazine or whatever, that means that you have lost them. But if their body language is up and engaged and they're listening to you, when they nod their head like this, I'm nodding my head, you know what that means? Close them. It's done. That means that you have now successfully closed them, and you say, okay, let's get started. Remember that word, those words, let's get started. Let's get it done. You know, we have leaders on the line. What's your closing word? Catherine, what do you say when you're closing people? Let's get started. Who else do I have on here? Any of you, write it in the chat. Kevin, I know you're on the line too. What is your closing? What do you say to people once they are done and you're ready? Before they are like this, or before they get to here, what do you say? Let's see. Let's do it. I like that. Nike. Pari, let's get you going. Perfect. I love it. Go ahead, continue writing that in there. When you say that, then you are ready to fill out the application. Don't go any more information. Don't tell them anything else they are ready to go. Let's get started. I love it. Okay, so now we're at the tail end. I got 2 more to go, and then I'm gonna let you all go, because here's what happens: converting customers to team partners. And this is really important. There are 3 ways to get started. What do you mean? Customer follow-up is important, right? Your fortune is in your follow-up, right? And then attracting marketing. That means that you're thinking about what attracts them and creating a connection. These 3 principles is how you can be able to make sure that you follow up with the people. Remember, creating a connection, the key is to be yourself and show yourself. Remember, they're thinking about you, and of course, building trust. It is so important that you make the connection. Making a connection with them, those connections is what will help to build the customer. Remember, in building the connection, you have to make sure that you're thinking about them and their success, whether it's building a business or whether it's a customer, but making that connection toward making them feel and letting them know you are excited about working with them. You know, they often say you're in business for yourself, but you are not by yourself. That's where making the connection and bringing us to the last point of this training today, and that is the training. Staying connected on this training is so important, and what happens is train them on how they can be successful. And we have great training programs. We have our Business Academy, we have our IMM training, and just so you remember, for those of you who have people in the New York, New Jersey, we have a IMM training that's coming up, International Marketing Manager training, that's coming up next month on March the 14th and 15th. We still have a little space available, so if you're interested, make sure that you let customer service know, let me know, make sure you communicate so we can get you that link so you can register. Okay, but understanding, a part of our training has to be understanding our compensation plan. Okay, so understanding our compensation plan, one of the quickest way is manager. Manager is your key level to success. And I want to delve a little bit into the manager level, because what happens is if your goal is to become a manager making machine, that's how you and your team and how you can become successful in this business. Remember, manager is you can sign up and join and get the manager package, right? Which is the most professional way. That gives you those 5 sets, right? One of them is free that you can use as your marketing material, but that's how you start. And then what happens is, as a manager, the next month you have to qualify. So I want to review the qualification once again on making sure that you hit your check, what we call check assurance. Check assurance means that you hit manager again. And so these are the possible ways for you to be able to do it. The first one is if you personally have personal volume of 600 in a calendar month. Now, I was talking to someone the other day. They said, "Oh, Tony, getting your $600 points is sometimes hard." You know what that calculates in? It is, of course, it includes personal purchases, retail, and your customer direct sales, right? But you know what? When we have our business academy, we always have the business academy special, which is valued at 500 points. What is that? That is our optimal set of 5+1, right? So every month, when you think about attending a business academy, and if you get the business academy special, you're at 500 points. If you personally have your own auto ship of 100 points, guess what? That's 600 points. That's how you do it. That's why it's the first possibility. The second one is you have your own subscription. You know what that is? That's your auto ship of at least 100. And you have 5 people who will do 100. Well, that's right there. That's your 600 points. That's your possibility number 2. Possibility number 3 has to do with your group volume. And what is group sales? Group sales includes team partners and your own personal sales. So anyone who is at the level of team partner, that counts towards you. But managers or higher do not count toward your check assurance. I know people are saying, but I have X amount of managers. Yes, but check assurance says that you qualify to get paid. So you'll still get paid on the sales of those managers, but you will not get your check assurance. You only get your check assurance by your team partners, okay? And then the last way is that if you have your own subscription, right, your own auto ship, and you get 2 managers that are direct to you. Whenever we talk about first line, that's direct to you. But what happens is when you hit those qualifications, your check assurance, gosh, you really do open the level to 7 streams of income. And here are those 7 streams of income. One is retail income, which counts for the 30% in terms, 40% of the auto ship. That's what that is, right? Customer direct program, that means that they order online, right? When they order online, you get 15 to 25%. Top retailer bonus, right? That's where you can get an additional 3%. That's on retail. Remember, retail is your personal orders. That means people purchase from you. You get an extra 3% of that, up to an extra 5% of there, okay? You have your first line bonus, right? That's 10% in terms of auto ship. Your performance bonus, that's when you get a new manager. And then 6-level royalties, that's 3 to 5%. So ultimately in this business, there are a lot of ways that, going back to what I initially said, that you could be able to earn. Remember, we said we're doing this for a goal. And what happens is right here at PM International, you have the capacity to achieve those goals, okay? So I went through all of that. The main thing I want to end with, as I think about these 5 steps, is the big picture. The big picture is that we have several different incentives that are available to you. The International Marketing Manager incentive, we have that. The World Tour, we have Tammy, who I think is on the call as well, who's on her way to Phuket, Thailand, with her and her husband. We also have Asheret Kim, who's on her way. And then we have with her husband. Then we have Sarah, who just started this past year. Her and her husband, Hector, is on their way as well to achieving that. So now we are in the running for you to achieve that as well. Make sure you stay connected to all of the events. These calls that we do, it's every Thursday. You get an opportunity to have the best of both worlds, because you have our opportunity presentation as well as this training. And I hope that I shared something with you that can certainly encourage you to do what we said earlier. Dream big, think big. You can be able to achieve that. Set goals for yourself, and remember, have a growth mindset. I love this slide here, because what happens is when you are really focused on achieving your goal, you got to persevere and build connection and have enthusiasm for achieving it. Remember, we have to have the willingness to learn. And you know what? I love this last one. It said, let's go develop leaders, but I especially love this, and be positive. So I want to thank you all so much for being on this call today. And I'm going to stop sharing for a second, because I want to make sure that we give you all the opportunity to ask any questions that you may have that I didn't talk about. Thank you all so much for being on this call. Does anyone have any questions at all? You should be able to unmute yourself If not, you can put in the chat and I'll see what I can do. Does anyone have a question? Anyone at all? All right. Well, thank you all so much for being on the call today. It's been a pleasure. Take care, everyone, and have a great weekend. And let's continue to make this month your best month ever, okay? All right, take care. Bye.